Hey, what's up? It's Sam Z News here to give you another recap, this time on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 1. So I did my little dance because honestly, I was so excited for this series premiere. Last season was some of the best television. I don't care from reality, real, fake, whatever. It was some of the best television. So happy that we are back with new episodes and everyone returned. Everyone wasn't in this episode, but everyone is back. And they just get straight to it. The scene opens with black and white camera images of Dorit's break-in. And you have audio of her saying over the footage of them showing like the two guys in hoodies walking in her yard. I want to say one of them is wearing like a COVID mask even, walking in her yard. And it's just so eerie how it opens up. It's so scary. Like she was like, this is it. This is how I'm gonna die. And it was chilling, but we'll get into that a little bit more because they go ahead and they give us that little tidbit and then they reel it back to 3 days earlier. We get a recap of what everybody's kind of doing before this major situation happens. We've got Kyle and Maurizio at the house chilling. He's like accidentally sits on Paris's beautiful Tiffany's blue invitation for her wedding. You got her and Kyle and Portia boxing in the backyard. And then we get a clip of Portia's bat mitzvah. I really wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. Portia's bat mitzvah. We've seen Portia since she was 2. She was a baby, you guys, and now she's freaking, like, what, 13? Like, I can't even believe it. Like, what is going on here? Like, who does she think she is? I absolutely love Kyle's mom. She's not my favorite on this show because I think she's a pot stirrer. We'll get into that. I'm sure she will show her colors or hide them as she usually does and hides behind everything, but whatever. So we get a little clip of Crystal, and she's just at home with her kids. I actually really like how Crystal is with her kids. She's really like, I think she's kind of a chill mom. Like, she's straight to the point. She's not no mommy mom. I think she even called herself a tiger mom before. She's like bartering with her daughter about how many pieces of broccoli to eat. Then we skip forward and we see a little bit of Rinna and Erica. They're the best of friends. We'll get into a little bit more of them. And then we have Garcelle and Sutton. Garcelle's in Miami for Angels of Humanity. If you see me looking this way, okay, I'm looking at my notes, okay? I cannot remember everything. Garcelle's in Miami for a speaking engagement, and she's just teasing how her and Sutton are both single, and they are spending time together because they trust each other. And, as you remember last year, Sutton and Garcelle, honey, were the heroes of the season, putting the fire under Erica. So, we'll see. I know they trust each other. They're a good friendship, and I love the both of them, actually. Back at Lisa's house, Lisa's explaining how Amelia, her daughter, one of her girls, is moving to New York. I want to say, is Amelia the one who was dating Scott? I should know this. I don't remember which is which, but one of them is moving to New York. Then we talk about Rinna Beauty, which is doing really well. And we get a flashback of Lois. As you know, Lois, Rinna's mom, amazing mom, passed away, which they're going to cover this season too. And then they show Erica. They're actually at Erica's house, which I love her house, her little Pasadena house. It's so cute. Actually, no, it's not Pasadena. That's where her old house was, but her new house. It is so cute, you guys. It's perfect. I think it's beautiful. I think it's like over 2,000 square feet. Has a pool. It's totally cute house. Anyway, someone sent her flowers and Lisa's like, what's that? You know how she is. And Erica's like, I've got an admirer. She won't tell Lisa who it is. But listen, Erica says that she is having lots of sex, a lot of good sex. She wants to have a lot of it with a lot of good people. And she said with some bad people too. And, I'm not mad at her for that. I mean, she was with Tom all those years. I'm pretty sure when her and Tom first got together and she had to secure the bag and, have him marry her in however many days. I forget, they got married pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure, Tom was doing his thing. But, Tom was a lot older even then. I think he's it's like 30 years difference. Tom, as we know, is in his 80s and everything that's going on with them. I'm sure we'll get to more of that. But she seems to be enjoying herself in that way. Then they start talking about the Watch What Happens live episode. Did you guys see that? Where Sutton is basically, I'm forgetting the timeline, but I'm realizing that this is shortly after the reunion, okay? Maybe a couple weeks after last season's reunion, okay? And on Watch What Happens Live, Andy is asking Sutton about the apology that, or the thank you rather, that Garcelle didn't give to Rena when Harry made the bolognese sauce. The stupidest thing I've ever heard. Freaking Garcelle thanked them in person. Hey, thank you. Now, if I was Lisa, I'm the type of person who's like, you know, if I give a gift, or let's just say food, I'll stick just with food. I cook something, or I made a homemade sauce. I'm not waiting for you to text me, honestly. I'm going to be like, so how do you like the sauce? Like, that's just me. You know, if I cook something and I'm serving people, I'm like, do you guys like it? Like, is it good? It's nasty, right? It's terrible. Oh, I'll never cook again, right? And you guys hate it. And they're like, no, like, I'm just that person. Like, I seek out the compliment. So I'm not waiting for Harry Hamlin or Lisa Rinna to be like, you know, sitting around like them to be like, Garcelle, you know, you didn't give me a third thank you. It was so ridiculous. But Sutton, she brings up, basically, hold on. She brings up that Lisa and Harry Hamlin were her guest at the Elton John event. I think it's maybe one of his AIDS charities or something, some big event that Elton John does. And, you know, you have to pay all this money. It goes to charity. You can have however many at your table. And Lisa was upset because she said, listen, I've been going to this event for years. I was not your guest. I did sit at your table, but I had my own table, but I ended up joining you. It's stupid. I don't know. Lisa has been in the town for a long time. She probably did have an invite. I really don't know. But Sutton, we flash to another scene where Sutton and Garcelle are talking about it. Sutton's like, look, I didn't say this to humiliate them. We flash back over to Erica and Rena, and Rena thinks that Sutton did it to, you know, be cheeky and to, like, you know, try to say that she's a good friend. And you've got Sutton over here like, I think me and Lisa will be okay. I think it's going to be okay. And then you flash to Rena with her freaking hair, and she's like, who does she think she is? I can't believe she'd get on TV. Like, Rena's ready for her. And Erica told, she goes, she messed with the wrong bitch, you know, in Erica's voice. So more on that, I'm sure. And then we go back to Crystal's house where Sutton comes over. And if you remember, you know, they did not get along, from Crystal calling her out about her, you know, Karen moment, if you will, or her, I don't even know if she was being a Karen per se in that moment, but the whole, I don't see color, and Crystal setting her straight and giving it to her on that. And they had a couple more missteps, and, you know, Crystal called her weird. And then, of course, the whole walking in and Crystal feeling violated, which Crystal talks more about that because of her, you know, eating disorder and how that made her feel. And then the infamous, jealous of what? Your ugly, you know, ugly leather pants. I love it. Like, anytime anyone even says leather pants, or I see leather pants now, I'm just like, you're ugly, yet even if they're not ugly, I just want to say it. So they're friendly, though. They're actually, like, getting on really well. They've been going to Dodger games. I follow them on social media. They have somehow just decided to, like, stop fighting and have managed their friendship. They decided to just laugh instead of fight. I think Crystal gets Sutton's humor. She knows that Sutton, you know, gives her little jabs. I think they call it, like, that Southern, like, shade. Just kind of like how, you know, Lisa Vanderpump always got in trouble for her British humor. You know, Sutton's got her Southern humor. So they talk a little bit about dating, and Sutton says that she is dating. She's looking for somebody tall, somebody handsome, somebody who likes cats. She is willing to get set up. And so I think maybe Crystal knows someone, because honestly, like, Rob is older, her husband, and she may know somebody who would be a good fit for Sutton. And then we go fast forward to Erica and Garcelle. They meet for a workout. This is definitely one of those producer moments that put them together. You know, I love Garcelle, and I had a lot of admiration. I liked Erica. Okay, you know, everything happened last year. That's a whole other topic, but I really don't think Erica dislikes Garcelle. I think she does like her, or did at this point. But I think that Garcelle's questioning, and you know, Erica only opens up to so many. I mean, she's super close with Rena. She's close with Kyle. She's close with Dorit. We've seen Erica and Garcelle have some pretty decent conversations where Erica doesn't open up to her, you know, and then last season when she did open up to her, producers apparently were pushing Garcelle to bring that on screen. So they kind of have a weird thing. I really feel they could be friends, and I would prefer that they like each other because Erica's so vicious and Garcelle is so sweet. I don't want anybody coming for her like that. She's so classy, and she doesn't have it in her to be, well, she might have it in her, but she just takes the high road, you know? And there's a lot of levels to that, but we've got a whole season. I'm not going to, you know, give my whole dissertation now, okay? But they meet, they have a great workout. Erica admits that, listen, she's been drinking a lot, getting messed up, eating Taco Bell, waking up in the morning, feeling fat, feeling like, basically like, damn, did I really eat that? Didn't remember ordering Uber Eats. And I'm like, this is so relatable, especially with the freaking, you know, pandemic. Like, everybody was drinking more and eating more and stuff. I don't like Taco Bell, honestly, but I thought that was kind of funny that she basically just called herself out, that she was like behaving like a college student. Her kid is grown. She ain't got her husband. She's living in this house in Hollywood, and she's drinking and eating, you know, and so she's getting back on track. And then after their little workout, you know, they start talking, and Garcelle's like, listen, are you going to apologize? And Erica's like, you know, to Sutton? Like, for what? Because, you know, Garcelle tells her, hey, I was in Miami with Sutton. And Erica's like, for what? And she goes, well, you threatened her. And Erica's like, well, what words did I say? And she's like, girl, you told her you were going to come for her. And Erica's like, oh, come on. That could mean anything. She's like, Garcelle's like, Erica, she was terrified. You threatened her. She had security at the freaking reunion, you know? Erica's like, look, I was backed in a corner. Sutton talks a lot of ish, and when you take a swing, someone's gonna swing back. She chose to repeat things that, you know, the other girls weren't repeating, because Garcelle's like, look, we all were talking. She's like, no. She was repeating things, saying that I had the 20 million in my LLC, you know, basically, you know, putting things out there. Erica's thing is like, I will never get away from the widows and the orphans. But now you're over here adding more fire to it. You're repeating things that aren't even true. Erica says it's been proved. She didn't touch the money. She hasn't seen a dime of it. And Garcelle's just listening to her. And she goes, oh, okay. Like, totally like, okay, girl. Like, and I don't blame Garcelle for not pressing her in that moment. What are you going to do? Get into this big fight with her in this gym? She basically told her, like, listen. Oh, here comes my baby. Yes, darling. I'm back. It never fails. If I'm doing this or anything, they're going to come in and, like, you know, she asked me for a snack. Dad was downstairs right next to her, but no, Kim ran on upstairs, asked me. Anyway, I know you guys can relate to that, I'm sure. So Erica's like, I didn't touch the money. You know, it's been proven. It's been disproven. So Garcelle is like, look, the only place and the only person saying this is Erica. If it's been disproven, it should be all in the papers. And I think something did come out a little while ago that it was like worked out, or not worked out, but that something about that. I don't remember all the particulars, because I swear it was like something every day. And honestly, Erica comments on that. She goes, look, every day it was a new op-ed. It was a article, a freaking documentary, you know, paparazzi, all this stuff. I mean, I'm not excusing Erica, but she really is and has a lot on her plate. So it's no wonder that she is drinking a lot and eating, and those aren't the healthy ways to cope with things. But I do believe she's also going to therapy, and I do believe they've teased that we're going to get into that stuff this season and everything. But, you know, Erica has that scene where the producer is asking her on the talking head, like, oh, okay, you know, so where's the footage, or where's the articles? And she's like, I don't know. Like, they can look it up. Bravo can do their due diligence. And they said something, I don't remember. She goes, duh, tell them to go read it. Thank you. You know, like, very cold, very matter of fact. She's done. And, you know, again, it's, she's going to have many bumps in the road. She even mentioned she can't even divorce Tom right now because it's hard to divorce someone who is mentally incompetent, as they're alleging that Tom is. So, or I think it's on record that he has Alzheimer's. So, you know, it's going to be some time before she can do that. And she's got a lot of legal hurdles. Then we get back to Dorit's house and the kids are doing karate. You know, like I've come a long way with my feelings towards Dorit. I really didn't care for Dorit at all. And I kind of like her now, and I really like PK. I really like him. And I always kind of felt there was something a little phony about Dorit, including, don't come for me, but including how she would talk about her kids, like, oh, my babies. And I don't know. It was just like something about it just seemed really like fake and off, which is, fake and off, which is like a really awful thing to say. But she is a really great mom, and she is just, you know, very fabulous the way she dresses. And I think that is just Dorit. That is just like, she just has a phony nature about her, but that's like authentically her, even with the accent and everything. And it's just, she's been the same since she's been on the show. She hasn't really changed much in that regard. I do know that there is, you know, some financial skeletons in her closet, you know, that conveniently don't make it on the show. We don't have to talk about her skeletons, but, you know, I digress. So she's, the kids are practicing karate. It was so cute watching little Jaggy, and he's come so far with his speech and everything. And her little daughter, Phoenix, so cute. Garcelle calls her. They have a nice little conversation. There are another couple girls that I wish could just get along, because I feel like they would really like each other if they could just kind of get past whatever little issues, like Sutton and Crystal did. And then, you know, they part their ways, and the next morning, or actually 5 hours later, Dorit says, is the night of the robbery. Oh, it was so, I know there's been a lot of people who like don't really believe Dorit's story, but it was chilling to watch, like showing these guys break in. Dorit thinks her kids are sleeping, and she is begging for her life. She's telling them, don't kill me, don't kill my kids. Like, it was heartbreaking to hear that, you know. And the next morning it's on the news, and everyone's showing up to Dorit's crying. Oh gosh, I'm like getting comments about Housewives. They're all showing up to Dorit's house, or actually, yeah, they're going to go meet with Dorit. They show Rinna, and Erica getting together. They show Rinna and Crystal. They show Kyle, and you know, everyone is just so upset. They actually have a quick little scene with Rinna and Crystal where they go check out an event space for Harry's party for Harry Hamlin's 70th birthday. And, you know, Rinna is like, look, I can't believe like the news what just happened to Dorit. I just saw her this morning. Like, this is freaking awful. Like, I don't feel right about having this party for Harry. They were very emotional. Crystal was crying. You know, it's like anybody who's a mom, or, you know, like you hear something like this and you know them, to know that like while you were at your home the night, you know, that night sleeping, your friend is being terrorized, like, has to be just the most sickening feeling, even for a friend. And it didn't even happen to you, but you know, when you love your friends or your people, if it happens to them, it happens to you. So everyone's just shaken up. Mostly everyone is shaken up, because we go over to Kyle's house in Bel Air, her original house, her first house, that she loves still to this day so much that she was renting out to Sutton. And you've got Sutton coming over there. And, you know, Kyle is literally on the couch. You know, Kyle cries for everything. So Kyle's literally on the couch looking out the window crying. You know, the cameras are there waiting for Sutton. They probably have a call time, whatever. And so she's waiting for her. And Sutton gets there, and she's immediately like, oh, don't, you know, I look like I've been crying, but I haven't been crying because it's my allergies. And Kyle's like, oh, I've been crying, you know, all morning. I can't believe it's so crazy. Like, you know, it was just so crazy, you know. So she comes in, and Kyle's just on the couch. She goes, oh my gosh, you know, like, this was so terrifying. What has happened to our friend and her children? And Sutton goes, yeah, it's weird. And honestly, like, I found it weird that Sutton said it was weird what happened to Dorit. You're describing a break-in, a home invasion as weird. Your friend had her children at the house and gunmen came in, and you felt like this was weird. So that right there rings bells, that I'm like, okay, you know, Sutton isn't buying it. Sutton is not believing anything anybody's selling, okay? She starts talking about like, well, I've had quite the morning too, because my French designer, got immigration issues, and, you know, and Kyle's like, what? That's your fire you've been putting out all morning? Sutton goes, well, I mean, I wasn't held at gunpoint. Kyle is like shocked. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, okay, she was like, what is wrong with you? Like, that really was insensitive. I don't know what Sutton's deal is, but very insensitive. I cannot believe her reaction, to be honest. I can't even excuse it. I don't know I don't know, except for she thinks it's weird, and I think maybe she doesn't believe Dorit, and we'll get into that. So they start talking about, they kind of move forward, and Sutton's talking about how she's dating, and Kyle's like, well, who else is dating? Erica's dating. And Sutton's like, well, I want someone with character and humor. He doesn't need to have money, unlike Erica. That's what Erica's looking for. And they get into a whole conversation about, Kyle's like, look, kind of thinking, how things ended last year, and, in friendships, and Sutton's like, no. Like, what is this? And she's like, well, you're gonna let me finish? And she's like, Sutton, I know that I want to apologize basically for not stepping up and speaking out about what she said last year, or at the table, the dinner, or what, shut up, that dinner. Okay. Where nobody defended Sutton. Rena was drunk. Everybody else was mute. Kathy should have been like, get out of my house. This is like, hello. Like, this is crazy. But Kyle's like, hey, you know what, Sutton? I'm pretty sure after that night she went home and cried her eyes out. And Sutton's like, whoa, you want me to feel sorry for her? Because she can't control her temper and acted full. She goes, that is ridiculous. She threatened me. She was completely out of line. She was terrifying for Sutton in that moment. And y'all want me to feel sorry for her? She's like, no, I feel sorry for the widows and orphans. They're the ones crying at night. The victims of the victims' families of the air crash, the explosion, and all the other, major issues that Tom defended and helped get money for. These people were like disfigured and all this different stuff. She's like, that's who I feel sorry for. That's who's crying at night, okay? If y'all want to be friends with Erica, go ahead. I don't care. Sutton is not budging. I think we're going to see a definitely stronger, straightforward Sutton. They kind of end that scene there. We move forward to dinner at Kyle's. Kind of like a dinner. It's the same. All of this apparently is the same day because Dorit is coming to this event. Dorit is actually coming to Kyle's house because PK is still in England. I don't think I mentioned that, but when Dorit had her invade the home break-in, it was just her kids there and PK. And she gets into that while at this dinner. But Kyle was mentioning that she hasn't really spoken to Erica much because Erica is upset with some stuff she said at the reunion. I don't even remember now, but some stuff at the reunion, and then the kid, Maurizio and PK kind of making fun of her, which was freaking hilarious, actually. PK and Maurizio are actually really funny. I would say they're the Joe and like Frank and all them from New Jersey. They're that for Beverly Hills. But Maurizio comes in looking fine as usual, and Erica is there now. And she's like, Maurizio, you hurt my feelings. And he gives her a hug, and he's like, I'm sorry, And I will mention that Sutton did say that the boys got forgiven easily, which is Maurizio and PK, where she got her head bitten off for saying things, but Maurizio gets forgiven with a hug from Erica. And Dorit arrives later, though, a little bit shortly after that. And actually, no, Rena arrives, and then Dorit arrives. Dorit is obviously no makeup. She's wearing all gray. She looks, like she's just been crying. Like she doesn't look like Dorit. She looks like, Dorit in distress, and she retells the story, and she's saying how she was so tired from their travel. They went to a wedding. PK was still there. The kids were in the wedding, and they were just so tired. She goes, anytime PK's out of town, my kids sleep with me, but I was so exhausted, I put them in their own bed, which I can understand because she just wanted to sleep hard and not probably have them all up under her. And, you know, you can't, you know how it is when you sleep with little kids, like they're everywhere except for where you put them. You have a big bed, they're right up under you. And she just wanted to get a good night's sleep, you know, and I can't blame her for that. And honestly, thank God they weren't in the room because who knows what would have happened. But, you know, she put them in the bed and she says that, you know, that she hears like the door open and she's thinking it's them. And when she doesn't hear their little voice or no one moves forward, she gets up and she sees a grown man standing there. Can you imagine like how freaking scary that is? That's like a nightmare. I don't even want to like put that out there, but it is terrifying. And then it just starts from there. You know, she's begging for her life. There's the second intruder. They're pointing a gun at her head. She's like, I'll show you where everything is. She shows them where it is, the jewelry. She's like begging them, like, don't take my babies. Like, don't hurt us. And I guess she asked them, which I don't know. I did kind of think this was weird. She asked them to leave her phone, but you know, they did, and they left it, and they told her to count to 40 or something like that and left. And it was awful. You know, Dorit was, I feel like she was very believable. Then you have, you know, they tell a story. Garcelle arrives. She hugs Garcelle. She sits down. She hugs her. Erica said something so weird. She was like, I can't even do it. She goes, yeah, Garcelle, they had a gun to her head. But the way she said it was as if it was like Garcelle and them who, like, Garcelle was in on it or something. Like, yeah, Garcelle, they held a gun. Like, it was weird. Maybe something else was said before, but the way she said it was so, like, I don't know. It was just like, why'd you say it like that? Like, yeah, Garcelle. Like, first of all, why are you using my name in a sentence? Like, stop. But anyway, you know, Dorit was like, at the end of the day, they took high value jewelry and fashion, and all of those items are replaceable. Her life is not. And, you know, they kind of move the night forward, go to the room and another little room where they're like eating. And it's actually super casual. Like Kyle's in her pajamas. They're like eating, I think on paper plates even. I don't even know what they had. And PK ends up coming from the airport there. So the reason why he came there is what they're saying is because the kids don't know what happened, they felt it was better to not have this big reuniting situation in front of the kids and concern them, seeing them cry. You know, if your kids see you cry, it's really scary when you see your parents cry. So they didn't want to scare them. They don't know what would happen. And I guess they were safely with security. So I'm not going to judge Dorit. Some people would be like, you know, I couldn't have shown up. I couldn't have done that. I don't know. I think I probably would have just stayed home with my kids, or they could have came to my house. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but whatever. She didn't, that's not what happened. PK came to them. It was heartwarming. They all, you know, kumbaya'd and hugged him and everything. And he felt, of course, as a husband, like devastated that he wasn't there, and that something like this could be happening to his family while he's out of the country is like the worst thing. You know, I think anybody just wishes they were there. But, you know, in that moment, I think Dorit she saved her family. She said the right things. And honestly, you know, these robbers, thank God they just got the stuff and left, and they didn't make it, you know, do anything else. Like, it wasn't necessary. If you're here to rob, just rob and leave. Like, you don't need to shoot anybody. You don't, like, just go, you know. And so thankfully that's all that happened. So PK tells them, yeah, have Harry Hamlin's party, and they leave for the night. Perry's party that Renham wants to have like in a couple days. They're like, look, I love you guys. We know you love us. Have the party. We need to move forward and have these moments in life. So overall, I think it was a great first episode. A little bit of drama, or like, I feel like a lot of foreshadowing with a lot of different things that we're going to see this season. We still haven't met Cherie Zampano, I think her name is, which is the ex-wife of Will Smith. We haven't met Diana, who is another housewife coming on, and we haven't seen Kathy. And we know that there is major drama with Kathy that Kathy sent cease and desist and doesn't want talked about. Britta's been running her big lips and talking about, you know, cryptically. There's gonna be, we have the Mexico trip, then we have Aspen, and we know that Aspen had everybody like that whole weekend was like, what is going on in Housewives world? Like, it was a crazy trip. That's when Garcelle unfollows, you know, Erica. I mean, there's just a lot to unpack this season, and I'm looking forward to recapping it. I will do my best to try to get these videos out faster. It is just, it's not easy. It seems so easy to sit down and do this. It is actually not. And I just like, I'm learning that, but that's okay. Once I get going, I think I do okay. What do you guys think? But with that said, if you like this video, please comment down below. Please subscribe and like. And I also want to work on making them shorter. I don't really want to make really long videos, but here we are. So thank you for listening, and I cannot wait for the second episode tomorrow.